And welcome back to Career Build Series, episode 210. And so I'm going to start where we left off last time. So have Cybele here at the hospital right by the beginner base. And so I want to get Proteus in the Career Build Series. So kind of my plan here is, in Career Build Series video 208 is the last kind of normal building video I did on Proteus. What I'm going to do is I'll release Proteus's build videos separately. That way we can get a little bit more gameplay in for the career build series. And if you wish to watch Proteus being built, that'll be a very long video, and I'll break it up with some bookmarks at some point. So one thing we need to do is I just kind of I called over to FJ Warner Docks, and we're a little bit low on diesel. Proteus can hold 4,000 gallons of diesel, about 17,000 or more than that. That's per side. So it can hold about 34,000 liters of diesel. Now it doesn't need all that diesel, but that's what it can hold. So we could probably use a little bit of diesel. So let's go ahead. And one of the reasons built Cybele was to do diesel moving quickly. So let's do that. So we will jump ahead, and then we'll kind of finish up with hopefully with Proteus in the air. What I've been working on with Proteus most recently is autopilot stuff. So Proteus is pretty much good to go. Little tweaks here and there, but that's what it's going to be, is tweaks. And so definitely wanted to get it into the career build series up to that tweaking phase, and that's where we're at. So put the prop in reverse here. It will swamp us a little bit until we get up to a certain speed, and as you can see, then we start coming out here. Have to be a little careful. I thrust it up too far, and it's tipping us, but once I get out a little bit, this will stop. You did have to worry about reversing aircraft, that you could get in a situation where you would actually tip them, so. So start turning out here on Cybele. Kind of had a cool notion to go down the river. I think that's what I'm going to do. So we'll go down the river here, and I think that'll be an exciting path to take. So I just kind of have to find the entrance here in a second. All right. All right, so we're turned out here. Let's me go ahead and find the entrance to the river. So about here where the lighthouse is, so that will get us going there. So we'll go ahead and stick that in. Altitude hold still good. Let's go ahead and we'll take off. And here we go. And so we're up and headed. So a little picture here. Cybele leaving base. So that was a pretty lucrative and fun mission there. They're starting to get pretty challenging. That was 8 people. A huge fire on a vehicle that was going to take me quite a bit to put it out. Just shut off my heading controls, so I'm going to do it manually here. And I'm going to start heading down this river. So we're going to go all the way down in the river here. So are going to have to go under bridges. It's going to be hairy. It's going to be interesting. Just check all my settings, make sure damage is all on. So that's something I have to worry about. I'm going to go ahead and go full prop. Come down on the speed a little bit here. I don't want to be going too fast here. The faster I go, the harder it is going to be to keep on path. So we're going to go to the Refinery Island. I will quickly grab some as much diesel as I can get. So we will, I think the autopilot, famous last words, I think the autopilot is good. Let's go ahead and go, I'm dropping the height some more here. Let us hope. We're a little bit high, I think. Skimming it. There we go. Need to take back up off the water here. There we go. Just trying to get us to a reasonable height that I can make it under those bridges, so still need to index this a little bit. So we just barely make it under these bridges. Here's a railroad bridge, so as you can see, we're traversing very fast. We're already down to here. Just checking my next point. I need to go left. Okay. Zooming and dooming through here. So we're coming up on the wind turbines. So Cybele is a nice, fun aircraft to go fast with. It really helps us kind of do what we need to do to get moving pretty quickly. I'm going to take the left path here. This goes towards Sawyer South. Another hairy bridge here. I'm going to I might dip it a little bit. We'll see. I'm going to do it in third person just so I can kind of see how much I have to dip to kind of make these work. Little bit dip, I think. Little dip, little dip, little dip, little dip. There we go. All right, we're through. I think I'll probably take a little glamour shot as I go under the bridge here. But pretty cool using this, especially going through the river is fun. Yeah, I'll just grab a glamour shot here. I know I'm taking a lot of pictures, but kind of the fun part of this vehicle. Yep, notice a couple paint spots there too that need doing, so kind of seeing some of the work I need to do. All right. And so we're coming out here. We're going to want to set up for our next point we want right here. All right. And once we kind of clear out through this inlet, we'll be able to head on course. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in. Have a ship coming in. And it was a 136, so we're almost headed right there as it is. Lighthouse Island's coming up there, so if we look at our map, that's right here. So we're already breaching out, pretty much aiming right at it right now. We'll wait till we get past the lighthouse. Yeah, we'll actually engage now. All right, so we're on our way. We're going to be there in 2.6. I'm actually going to turn us just a little bit. I don't want us aiming right at the island. I want to come right about here is good. Yeah, let's reset it. So a lot of, like I said, a lot of video on Proteus. I have, I'd say 6 to 8 hours probably of videos on Proteus. Needs to be cut a little bit, and then I'll release it as a lump, and you guys can watch as much of it as you want or you don't want. Kind of see building technique and that. You know, I think sometimes these longer build videos kind of drag as I work through some of the problems, and so. You know, I think it derails the career build series just a little bit to have the super long builds in there. So kind of what I did was, you know, put the first few on there, kind of show and tease the aircraft or the vehicle, and then, you know, I hammered out some more while I was homesick from work. And so I have all that recorded to show you guys, and you can watch it if you want. And if you just want to continue on with the career build series, you can also do that. And then that will be coming in a much more finished state. And then as you see it finished, you know, more finished, of course, nothing's ever finished in game, you can then decide if you want to go back and watch some of the earlier stuff. You know, went through a lot of iterations. I had kind of a wonky, weird staircase going from the back. That's low fuel. Caution fuel. 28 gallons, copy. This is pretty fuel efficient. I'm going to dump some. I'm going to go full prop again. Check my temp. A little bit hot. Check my temp, and we'll drop off some temp here as well. All right. And so just dropping off. Save a little fuel, do that. We'll be there in less than a minute, so plenty of fuel. What's there? What is that? That is the, like, the castle-looking island, I think. The fort. There is where we're going right there, so you see we're not too far away. 20 gallons. So, as we see, we get a warning fuel. So we should be able to get in there fine with what we have. And then its main tank is our ferry tank, so we do ferry fueling with this. We used to do that in the airlines. Was you know, if you were going somewhere that had very expensive fuel, you would ferry fuel by essentially bringing more fuel than you needed for that flight, so that you didn't have to buy the more expensive fuel when you got there, essentially. So shouldn't take us too long to fill up. If it does seem like it's taking a little bit, I will go ahead and I'll do something like a time lapse. But I don't think it takes too long to fill this up. It has a reasonable quantity, but it's not an insane amount of fuel. And so that's how you'd get it in real life. I don't think I have the buzzer hooked up, but you get caution first. Caution is a yellow, and then you'll get usually it's solid yellow, and then you'll get a flashing red. So it's part of human factor to set it up so that it gets you going. As far as the dings, what you'll do is you'll get one buzzer ding when you get caution, so you get your caution, you'll get one ding, you'll get a solid yellow to call your attention. Hey, you're getting low on fuel. And then when you are getting really low on fuel, you get a constant dinging, and you get a flashing light, and that's so that you don't forget about it. It's like my eye went right towards the yellow. I saw the yellow, and I'm like, okay, we're getting low on fuel, and then the warning comes up, and start getting really concerned about fuel. I'm just gonna go third person just to watch my propeller. Should be good, but I'm gonna go ahead and shut off vehicle damage again, just because you get situations where of course you'd have fenders, you'd have people throwing ropes down to you. We don't get any of that, so I need to kind of fake that a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and shut down the engine. All right, and so we made it in just in the nick of time with our fuel at what it was. I'm going to do some good door discipline here to make sure that I don't, cause us to be swamped. Yep. And in the drink. I was trying to avoid the drink. I was hoping maybe once I could get away with not ended up in the drink, but we must have been thirsty. I can't see it at all there. Nope, no good picks there. All right. I think I have override time on. Let's shut it off. I meant to play it after that. Yeah, we did a bunch of night missions, so try to do it 1/10. That's crude oil. No, thank you. I think this is diesel. Hopefully it's not too far. I think this is all right. Diesel, yep, right there. So 35 cents. We're going to fill up and bring as much. Again, we don't need full fuel for Proteus, but the more fuel, the better. It's going to be hairy trying to get up and over the hump here with hose stretch. There we go. Okay. And we'll go ahead and we'll monitor. I regret shutting the doors. That external door will shut itself. So, and we're filling up fast. Wait till this fills all the way up. This gauge is wrong. So, the gauge isn't quote unquote wrong. It's not indexed correctly. So as you can see, it went all the way up to the top. I need to make a list for this vehicle as well. Of what it needs. So make another, you just usually make Google Docs for each vehicle. That way it's easy to keep track. I have a lot of vehicles, and as I go from one to the next, it makes it a little easier here. So let's go ahead, and I want to do index fuel gauge, and like I'm always saying, the best and easiest way to know what your vehicle needs is to put it in a career game and kind of see what what works well. So the other thing is the buzzer is not working. Opt for warnings and cautions. That's not English. That's not what I'm spelling. There we go. All right, and wow, I cannot type today. All right, so let's check our fuel. And I see it's still climbing. We can take on considerable amount of fuel before we get swamped, and we can still fly with it, no problem. We start to get swamped. You can see how we're sitting lower and lower in the water. I'm going to pretty much pull it once that door closes because it's going to make it hard to get in and out. As you can see, we're already flooding. There we go. I don't know why it's not shutting with us flooding, but oh, I think I set a floor limit so it could take on a little bit of water before it would shut. There we go. See, once it went over that limit, it you see now it's empty of water. So let's go ahead and jump in really quick, and I'll see where we're at here. So we'll go to 3,000. So by the time I get back out there, we'll call it good. You see the door auto shuts behind me. Enough for me to get in and out. All right, that's good enough. That's 3,000. I think that's gallons. I decide, with I should probably change Cybele over to Proteus. So usually when you're flying large aircraft, small aircraft, you tend to do gallons or liters for fuel. When you get into larger aircraft, you start doing it by weight and so or mass. And so the Proteus does it by mass, and so it is. It's in pounds because that's what I tend to work with, especially for flying. And so Proteus holds 35,000 pounds per side. So you're talking 70,000 pounds of fuel. This right here, we're talking 3,000 gallons. So you're talking 21,000 pounds of fuel I just put on here. And so, you're talking in the neighborhood of about, 10,000 kilograms of fuel. And so that's this is gonna fill. This is not gonna fill anywhere near the tanks on Proteus, but I don't need it to either. And we'll go ahead and back out. All right, so I have my props set in reverse, which slowly backing out. I'm just gonna quickly toss a waypoint in here so we're kind of ready. And then I'm kind of back us out here. Doing all right in first person, or in third. Yeah, we were doing all right in first person. I was concerned about hitting the propeller on those cranes. There's no worry. Proteus would be beautiful to ferry fuel. The issue is there's no way I get it close enough. The wingspan is enormous, so it's max width. So there's no way I'm getting that up in there. So I had some thoughts of maybe having a little tender boat that will, just have a winch, and Proteus will essentially sit here in the mouth, and that will run hoses and, do some fueling, but I'll figure something out cool to do. This is my fast fuel ferry. That's one of its main jobs, is to actually fuel this diesel. So as you can see, it's sitting with the wings in the water with a full fuel, so it can actually hold more fuel than it probably should. So what I'll do is I'll put a valve on there, maybe 2,500 gallons. I don't want anything to be OP. I don't want it, unrealistic where this is under. Once this gets some forward motion, it gets out of the water, no problem. It's not an issue of power. It has no problem with power getting out. And as you see, it drops very flat. It's not, the fuel is essentially right on the center of gravity. It keeps it on center of gravity and on center of lift and center of buoyancy. So if you get all the factors correct for setting up your vehicles, they behave much better. I just increased my thrust. That's why we're coming up out of the water. So increase the thrust on my propellers a little bit, and starting to come out of the water here. Should probably turn the other way, actually. Don't want to come out too fast. The thrust starts tipping the aircraft. So backing out. So that didn't take very long. So that's one of the reasons I made this vehicle, is you know, it's nice to have a large tanker or something that you can do one trip and have that trip last you a very long time. But it's also nice to be able to quickly do one. You know, like I said, this is 2,500 gallons of fuel. That's a considerable amount of fuel for our needs. You know, so we should be good for quite a while. You know, Proteus, it holds a ton of fuel, but it's actually reasonably fuel efficient. So we'll take it for a little flight. Looking at our time here. Let's see what we can do. I think we fly from here. No place. Oh, this is interesting. No, can't really do that. So what I'm thinking is, I was thinking of maybe trying to run a container. I'd have to buy Draymore, which technically we should own Draymore already. Could try to bring a couple from FJ Warner to Spy Cakes, make a little money. That could be interesting. We should have enough fuel to get from here to there, no problem. Let's go ahead and I'm going to start going forward here. I need to slow down a little bit. My turning effectiveness isn't great if I'm, there we go. I have to set my prop correctly. There we go. Once I've set my prop pitch correctly, I can get a nice tight turn here, so I have to kind of monitor it. If I go too fast, I lose some effectiveness, so. It takes a little bit of time to get it turning, but, you know, I have patience, and it's a little bit more realistic taking your time than kind of zooming and booming all the time. Plus, we'll get up to a good head of speed. What are we talking? Temps drop quite a bit. All right, so here we're about ready to go here. I'll just let's see what's set for. Let's change this to -10. All right, we are ready to go here. All right, so let's go prop up. Hit the wrong button. This button's dead. It doesn't do anything. These three need to be worked on. All right, so we'll be there in about 2.5 minutes. Keep it a little eye on the temp. But yep, so here comes 2,500 gallons of fuel to, you know, so I'll probably end up changing out to pounds. I kind of like doing my aircraft with pounds. Smaller aircraft, I'll do gallons. But I tend to like to do pounds in the larger aircraft. So I'm enjoying Cybele. Cybele's working really well. So one thing I did for Proteus was finally got a plain autopilot set up the way I wanted it. You know, I had the Cormorant's autopilot. The autopilot works great. The issue was when I was working on Katydid, I made the screens for the radio receiver to be able to track to Triton. I also want to be able to drop radios at bases and airports so that I can do instrument approaches off the radio frequency. And so I had that in Katy, and I had the multifunction displays in Katy. And so I had a thought of maybe re-engineering Katy's autopilot just for integration purposes, but I had already reintegrated or reconfigured Katydid's autopilot to work for airplanes rather, and so all I needed to do was, was a better idea instead of redoing the autopilot again, to just reconfigure it so that it works with the screens. So now there'll be 2 multifunction screens. So, some of these vehicles I like having the old steam gauges. Some of them I like to have the more modern system and the multifunction pages. For Proteus, I wanted those just because I'm going to have I have a lot of stuff going on in there. It's 4 engines, you'll see. It's quite, has quite a lot of stuff on it. So less than half a minute, we can see we're starting to come up on FJ Warner now. Autopilot's coming off. Flash right in there. Really starting to get the hang of this and being able to control it quite precisely. So one of the ways you can quickly drop out of the sky here with this is by reducing your props. So you see I go down to Right there, it's about 20 on the, it's 20% really, but I haven't done the manifold conversion on everything yet, but about 20% prop really helps it drop in the water. So not only does bringing down the throttle help, but dropping that down about there, it, it doesn't want to take off at that setting. So lets me do these high-speed taxis. Like that's a 22 knot taxi, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna save before we hit this, before we get to the workbench. That way I can make sure that, this should suck all our fuel into the workbench, but if it doesn't, I want to pump it out. So I want to save it, make sure it does it appropriately, and then, at least all this was not a waste of time. So I don't know right now if this actually shares the fuel with the blue hangar. Proteus has to be launched from a blue hangar. So let's go ahead and do the save right now. Yeah, Proteus has to be launched from the blue hangar. Blue hangars are the largest, and I don't want to do modify workbenches, so. All right, so I have to get out. Let's just kill this engine here, shut it down. Let's up. So still 2,800 gallons of fuel. So that's about a quarter of. That's about a quarter of Proteus's capacity. Proteus should have an incredibly long range. I haven't really tested it yet, but that should last us a very long time. So let's double check here. I did my save, so if this doesn't transfer over properly, I can upload the save and then just suck it up with the hose. You know what? Let's test it. I'll bring it in the workbench. I was gonna say we'll just leave it, but let's see. So again, this is diesel, even though it says jet storage here. This is jet A1. As you can see, the numbers are different. So 749. Let's go ahead and recall this. Let's look. There we go. 517 liters. So nice. So that's in there. Let's check over here at Blue Hangar, see if this is in here. If not, I have to tanker some over. Okay, good. These FJ Warner shares them all. All right, so let's launch Proteus. And do we have time for a container mission? Let's see. Do I? No. I still have to work on some stuff. Let's just go for a flight. So let's go. Let's see what we want to do here. 140. So I can launch Proteus at Blue Hangar bases. I wonder if I can launch Proteus here at the military base. I bought the military base, so let's go here anyway. Let's do my instrument approach for the military base. How about we do that? So I made that instrument approach. So let's go ahead and we'll set the waypoint there. We'll go in and we'll land at the military base. I'm not sure if it will fit in the hangar or not, but I shall see. And worst case, we'll start from there. So let's go ahead and launch Proteus. I'm excited to get it in. Need to double check the electricity really quick on Proteus. So here's Proteus in current state. So you've probably seen some teasers of this. I just need to double check and verify electricity is set. I've been doing a pretty good job of running it all up and getting all the electricity set together. What are you? You need to be connected there. Please, thank you. Okay, all that needs to be connected. Good to know, good to know. What is that? Compass sensor. Okay, all that. So yeah, I am missing some stuff here, so bear with me as I just connect a couple of these. So that goes there, this goes there. I've added some stuff, so I forgot I didn't really get all the electricity done. What's that? Distance sensor. So I usually group sensors together. Try to group like things together. That tends to help with getting things set up in case you need to do something with them. So let's go ahead. This is going to go to, this is my master here. That's just sitting up in one of my decks until I get that put away. What are you? You are camera medium. Okay, you are part of the PFD system. So you are part of gauges. Okay, that's fine. I'll go there as well. That's fine. Let's go to the master. And what are you, buzzer? You can be connected to here because you're part of that system. You know, it's kind of a normal thing to do is hook like systems together. I'll do a quick tour of the vehicle in its current state. And then I think we should be pretty good to go here. Just checking the last final couple things. Are you all connected under here? You are. What are you? You are the connect points. That's fine. You can also hook up to here. And then this is connected to the hinge points. What are you connected to? Hinge points, hinge points. Do you connect to the master then? Somebody needs to connect to the master, so you need to go there. All right, just the last couple, things of electricity here. What are you? You are my door systems. My door systems. Do you connect to anything that you're supposed to? You connect there. You connect there. You connect here and to the master. All right, good. So I think we're good. Famous last words, I know. Hopefully, what are you? That's fine. These can stay disconnected. And I think we're ready for a tour. I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and spawn it. Let's save it really quick. One thing I do need to fix. This here needs to be connected to the avionics master switch. I kept forgetting to do that. I think we're good. All right, so let's go ahead and launch it. And I've been flying it around, so it should be all right. So I present Proteus in its current form. It's close to being, it's show worthy. It has some issues. Lighting, I need to move these lights in the inboards. These low lights will be taxis. Those will be landings. That's plenty. These just hit the cockpit in a funny way. I don't like, but I'll fix that. So let's go ahead and I'll do a little walk around here. We'll start it like I'm doing one of my creation reviews. So Proteus. So it has C5 Antonov 124 225 Miria style nose. We'll open that up. It has some inspiration from a bunch of different old flying boats, but also mostly my own design. It's 4-engine. It has the exact same engines with some small modifications that that Cybele, the Ekranoplan, has. It just has 4 of them. And so we have the ailerons are kind of aileron spoileron type. They only go down. So you get one down, none on the other side. We have pontoons. We have flaps, simple flaps. Gonna come around the tail here. We have a steering tail wheel. We have a fin for water mobility. We have a bubble area in the back for observation. We have a folding tail to be able to fit it in the hangars. We have some nice cool landing gear here. They function kind of like my VTOL, which I don't think I've ever shown for cargo. And so let's go ahead and let's get in. So you can get in on either of the hips. These are the big hips on there, kind of like some of the old Dorniers used to have. You want to climb up here, and then this is a service panel, so you can do your refueling. This is fill to starboard, fill to port. As you can see, we can fill those up. That we can hook our electrical cable anchor, and we can check our battery and our volts to make sure if we want to use ground power. That's not completely finished yet. This is not powered. Okay, let's fix this. So again, this is a quick and easy way to figure out if things are working here too, is going through systems as I actually need them. So now that can't go to the master, so some of this has to go to the hot bus. So this has to go hot bus. I screwed up some of this, so that's fine. Hot bus. Let's see, doors all need to go hot bus. So these are going, so this will go here. And then I just need to disconnect the link from there. So that goes there, there. You go all the way up to this door here. And then you go to this side. You should not anymore. It will connect there. So that's now hot bus. So what a hot bus is it goes directly to the, what's that connected to? This here needs to be connected like this. It goes directly to the engine. I'm sorry, it goes directly to the battery. And so it's always powered. And then the cold side, you want to power it when you only have the master switch on. So that keeps you from using up electricity when you don't want to. So, most of the systems you need to have the master on. That way you're not burning up your battery. So let's go ahead and spawn it in again. I'll just go to where I left off. So we have two hips, and this is fully sealing, so that it can land in the water. So we'll go down in this hip here. As you see, we have a little room. We'll go ahead and close that up. That will have that water detection system, and it will lock this door probably if there's water in there until it's blown out. But as you see, we can go in either hip. Shouldn't be able to open this. Maybe I did hot bus it. If it's infinite electricity? No. Okay, so I'll probably hot bus this. But if you saw the little short video I did, this is the nose. Needs a little bit of paint, as you can see up there. But C5, Antonov 124, 225 Mary. Oh, stealing you. You are my buddy now. Can I pick you up? I can't pick you up, can I? How do I pick this guy up? Whatever. All right, so that's the nose door. So you can hook up one of my aircraft loaders to the front of this and slide two containers in. And so right now I have kind of a mix. I'm probably going to go all grippers. I wish they'd put the tracks. I wish they'd put grippers in the bottom of the containers so that you could slide it on tracks. They did it backwards where they have tracks on the bottom of the container, so you need to have grippers. Grippers are too wide. It would have made better sense the other way, but, that's the way they did it. And so come back to the rear here. I had a couple iterations of this. I had a wonky, weird staircase, and I had an elevator. The elevator was cool, but it's causing some physics issues, and I was seeing that could be a headache, so I could always put something back in. Little observation in the back here, you had a little tail ball turret on a Sunderland, so I kind of like that. Come up in here, so this is daylight. See this door, it's good. I did connect it correctly. So you'll need a flashlight to come through here. This is when I used to enter a cold airplane in the airlines. We used to have to, when you open the door, you had a tiny little light right by the cockpit, and that's all that you would have, and you had a flashlight there. So the light would show you where the flashlight was. You could grab the flashlight. You could go in the cockpit, and then if you press the battery button, it would turn on the battery. So that's, like master power. So now we're powered up. All right, and so I will have an APU. I haven't hooked that up yet. Let's go ahead and turn avionics on. So we have both Sky's PFD. I will talk about these more. I talked about some of the videos of these. These are great. Let me actually bring them up. I like to certainly show this person's work off. They did a fantastic, phenomenal job on this. It's one of my favorite things in the workshop. They definitely deserve a lot of applause for this. So please go over, if you enjoy stuff like this, go over and give a like, an award, favorite. This modular 6-pack steam gauge flight instruments for 1-to-1 monitors. This is excellent. This is from Basilicious. I can't recommend this enough. You can use as many of these or as few of these as you want. They're independent. They have their independent microcontrollers. I haven't gone in and indexed and changed some of the numbers yet, but they're fantastic. They're absolutely phenomenal. I can't recommend this enough. These are really great. And I love them very much. And so they make old schooly airplanes a lot more viable. I like steam gauges. They're a little bit more challenging, but I like that element of flying. And so we have our steam gauges. So let's go through here really quick. Sky's PFD. So this is kind of the modern system. As you can see, it just gives you so much information in such a tiny, compact area. That's why they switched to these types of panels. But they'll still have reversionary backups here. I'm missing one here. I have to figure out what that's supposed to be. I can't recall. I might make that my caution panel, actually. I did a couple iterations of this where I just did reversionary stuff. But anyways, we have airspeed, attitude indicator. We have altimeter, turn slip indicator. We have our compass. We have our vertical speed, our VSI. We have a backup compass up there. You need a backup compass, so that's why we have two. Artificial horizon on the FO side, airspeed and attitude, and the FO would use these two as part of their cross-check. Coming across the panel here, we have RPM 1 through 4 for engines 1 through 4. They start on the captain's far side, 1, 2, inboard's 3, 4 is outboard. We have the props. I'm doing them in manifold pressure, but I have to fix it. It's backwards. I have to come up with a formula. All 4 temps. We have our gear indicator, so we have greens for the mains are down and locked. We have the tails down and locked. They'll go into mains transit, tail transit, and then it will be mains red for up, and we will have tail up. Over here we have our fuel in pounds. Oh no, that's not good. Okay, this filled one tank, it didn't fill the other, so I have to cross feed right off the bat. That's very dangerous. I have 20,000 pounds on one side, and I had nothing on the other side. So we're cross feeding here. So let me get started up. This could eat up it's not eating up that much electricity, but until I have an APU, let's get started. So you know, we're up and running here. Let's get going. I have to move a ton of fuel, or else literally tons of fuel, or else we're not going to be able to get off the ground. So let's go ahead and we want to turn our beacon on before we start an engine. We want to check we're clear. Clear left on 1. Engine start 1. 1 is up and running, or 1 is starting. We're going to check our RPM. RPM is up and stabilizing. We're going to check our temp. Temp's coming up. All right, and we're going to connect the generator. That way you don't want to have load on that engine when you're starting it. All right, we're going to taxi out on... We'll taxi out on 2 engines. We'll taxi out on our outboards. So we'll start up 4. All right, 4 is coming up. Checking the RPM. Make sure we get a stable start. We do. We're stabilized. Prop's fine. Temp's coming up. And we'll put on generator 4. Let's go ahead and check our electricity. We're still burning. That's fine. We're at low thrust setting here. Let's go ahead and set our prop. I'm going to probably redo the props. I just haven't got to yet. Props coming up, so we're going to go about there for taxi. Parking brake's coming off. And so I'm going to go ahead. Ooh, we slid a bunch here. Let me start trying to taxi this. I might have to recall this just because it slides. Everything slides in Stormworks in here until I get... generally, if I can do the edit the grip, I should be able to taxi out of this. All right, so let me show you one of the tricks with this airplane and why you want multiple engines. So this one here, I'm going to keep this thrust lever back. I'm going to go up to, what is it, 4? I'm sorry, 1. 1, we're going to reduce the prop on 1 to reverse. And you'll see we're just pushing with this one on the left. And now I'm going to steer as well. I'm going to probably hit. Yeah, I'm going to hit. All right, so let's go reverse on 1. And let's go reverse on 4. I'm hitting. Am I hitting? Okay, that's fine. So it was jittering in the hangar. That's why. All right, we're good now. All right, we're outside. Let's go ahead and fix my props here. I have to fix the props the way I have them set up here. All right, so we're going to taxi out on 2. That's just to save fuel. Check on my... I'm doing my crossfeed here. Uh-oh. I'll tell you about that in a second. Takes me a little while to taxi out here, so... So if you watch, I'm going to start increasing my throttles. I'm going to turn this... the props are loud, but... the engine sounds are quiet. There we go. Props are overly loud and the engines are overly quiet right now. There we go. Alright, so we'll start taxiing out. So I need to fix my props and everything. So let's start taxiing out. So I kind of lost my train of thought here. Let's go ahead. I'm trying to do this in order. So let's fold the tail. You see the tail has to fold to be able to fit in the hangar. So that will go up and lock into place. Have our beacon on. Let's go ahead. We'll leave everything else off for now. Start taxiing out a little bit faster here. So one of the nice things with having like a system set up like this is asymmetrical thrust. And you use this in multi-engine aircraft. You actually put up, like if you want to make a right turn, you bring up your port engine. and that'll help you turn. You know, especially with, like this as a steerable tail wheel, I can move the tail wheel. If I did a non-steerable tail wheel, I would, you know, I would have to do it with asymmetrical thrust. I may make this so that it has a non-steering tail wheel where I have to use thrust. So we're taxiing out on 2 right now. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go down on this throttle, and this throttle, we'll go ahead and we'll start engine number 2 and 3. So we're going to start in 2. All right, checking 2. RPM stabilized. Generators coming on. Let's check our electrical flow. Okay, so see, we're producing electricity. All right. All right, so we need to cross-feed back to the left. I pushed too much fuel across. Oh, so I remember now. The reason I started laughing was this used to happen to me in the airlines all the time. You'd see there was a fuel imbalance, and you'd click it to go to the other side, and you'd get distracted, and you'd look, and and you go, oh crap, and now it's imbalanced the other way. So that's a normal thing to happen. 3 is coming on. Checking 3. 3 is stabilized. All right, let's turn the gen on. All right, so we're all 4 engines are up and running. Let's check our fuel balance here, 12.8. Let's go ahead and set our flaps for takeoff. We'll go 20 degrees for takeoff. All right, I want to get these fuels balanced here. We'll start setting up for where we're going. Waypoint is in. Let's put that in. All right, the runway heading is 078. All right, altitude, we're going to go up to 2,500 feet. All right. All right, so my center engines are not synced, so all I need to do is come all the way back with all 4. And now I can go forward with all 4 engines. So that's why I set it up this way, is as I make turns, you'll see I'm going to make an asymmetrical turn up here. So with a low prop setting like this, I need a lot of RPM to get moving. That's how you want it. You want it like that on the ground. This makes it so that I can't take off inadvertently, especially the game is way unrealistic on how quickly you take off, so I need a lot of prop pitch to get off the water effectively. All right, so we're coming up for a turn here. I'm gonna start bringing my thrust back. I'm gonna look up and I'm gonna grab my ports, and then I'm gonna come up on all of them. And so now my port thrust, I'm sorry, my starboard 2, my engines 3 and 4 are pushing harder than my port side. And as you can see, my hands are off the keyboard and it is turning me. That's how we help turn on the ground. You can turn very tight. All right, so the ground asked us to switch to tower. We switched to tower. I'm going to come back on all 4 engines. All right, we're going to switch to tower. Cabin Air 123 is at runway 78, ready for takeoff. Or be runway 8. Runway 8, ready for takeoff. Captain Air 123, you are cleared for takeoff to the military base. Fly heading 078, climb maintain 2,500 feet. Once arriving at 2,500 feet, head direct to the military base ADF, and you're cleared for the approach. Copy that. We'll take off runway 8, heading 078 up to 2,500 feet. Upon reaching 2,500 feet, we'll head direct to the military base ADF, and we'll begin the ADF runway, what was it? 210 approach. Read back correct. Cap flight 123, clear for takeoff. Clear for takeoff, thank you. Nav lights, strobes. We're clear for takeoff, so we can go landing lights on. All right, RPMs, check. All right, let's do it before, that's my FO, before takeoff checklist. Flaps, flaps set. Lights, set. Heading set, heading set. Altitude 2,500, 2,500, check. Clear for takeoff. Copy, clear for takeoff. Port takeoff checklist complete. My airplane. Did I click? That's on. That's just logo and taxi. I don't need those. All right, set the prop. Prop is set for takeoff. Oh, what's going on? Oh, something happened. You know, I did. I started the engines. See what I did? That's fuel crossfeed, dude. I told you I'd get distracted and screw up the crossfeed. Don't worry about my engines here. I did it again. I forgot my crossfeed. I've been moving fuel back and forth. See, this is why one of the reasons why you have multiple pilots is to help do this stuff. Like, it's too much work to be going through all this with one person. Let me call the tower. Tower, Captain Flight 123. We have a little issue on the runway here. Can we get a position hold? That's proved. We're dead over here. Copy that. Thank you. All right, so our engines are back up and running. I took all the fuel out of the starboard tanks. So all my starboard engines stopped running. So let's go ahead and let's start. We did a little bit of a runway departure there. So let's get back on. The taxi's slow. I still have damage off, so that's all right. I'm gonna watch my friggin' fuel crossfeed here. So that's gonna have to be on my checklist. I'm gonna come up with a procedure on that. If I see, I was like, oh my god, I've been testing this thing like crazy. Why are we having problems? It was the crossfeed. You know, I screwed up the crossfeed here. So I want to get these even. That's weird. The workbench it's prioritizing one tank over the other. So it put all my fuel in one wing. And so that needs to be on my before takeoff checklist, check and balance, because if I have 30,000 pounds of fuel on one side and I have no fuel on the other side, I'm gonna crash. That's just too much fuel. Like, they're all in the wing roots, so they're right here, right there on the wing roots. So it's not that far out in the wing, so I might be all right, but it's like, you see, I ran out of fuel. So they're getting close, so I'm gonna watch them. So that's pounds of fuel. So we have about, what do we have, about 20,000 pounds of fuel. That makes sense. That's what we brought in. All right, that's close enough. Checking fuel. Perfect. Okay, good. All right, so we're back to where we were. Let me check back in with the tower. Cap Flight 123, we're ready again. Position hold, runway 8. Cap Flight, clear for takeoff, runway 8, heading 078 up to 2,500, clear direct to the military base, ADF. All right, clear for takeoff, Cap Flight 123, thanks. All right, a little bit of back pressure, it is a tail dragger. We don't go full throttle on this, we don't need it. It's not realistic to go full throttle, you're just burning up your engines. It's a big wing. We don't need a lot of speed. 70 knots, a plane with a wing this big with this much flap, no problem. Positive rate, gear up. Gear's coming up. Gear's in transit. I have been having issues with that tail wheel. I have to check it. It's actually a physics problem. It's not a design problem. If I go put my character back there, that wheel will come up. So we will recycle the gear once. We are going to go over 100 knots before I bring up the flaps. 100 knots, flaps coming up. All right, I'm going to turn on the autopilot for workload reduction. Autopilot's on, heading hold, altitude hold. All right, we'll go through some checklists here. Gears are all the way up, as you can see. Gears retracted. Climb checklist, please. Gear up. Flaps up. Landing light is off. Climb checklist. Set climb prop and thrust. All right, setting climb prop and thrust. Prop set. Climb thrust set. Climb checklist complete. 2,000 for 2,500. Usually call it out 1,000 ahead, but I was busy. We'll go up to 3 actually. Let's go up to 3. We're actually on an instrument approach. So if we're in visual flight rules, we would split it 500-foot increments. We're in Did I set that altitude hold? Yep, I did. I put it back to 3,000. Good. So you see we're maintaining our heading altitude. All right, RPMs are good. Props set. Temps are good. Check our crossfeed. Crossfeed's good. We're burning a little bit high on the right side, but we're good. Any trims in? Nope. All right, 3,000. We're cleared direct to the military base ADF, so we're going to go ahead. That's 299. 299 is in there. We're going to switch from our heading hold to our heading bearing. As you can see, we're making our turn. We're going to deselect heading hold, and we're going to put in a heading of, if we remember my instrument approach, I'll bring it up. So we'll put in, oh, the 035, I think. Let me look. I have to find the approach. We should be on course, going on course here, no problem. Let's see where we're at. I have to just find the, what I made. Where did I put it? There we go. So here's the military approach plate. This is, all right, so we're going direct to the military base. We're gonna turn a little early. We're coming in like an angle like this. So we want to go up. We want to go out on the 030 for 4 miles. We want to turn left to a heading of 345. So this is actually kind of backwards, but left 345. This should be over here and up. Then we're going to take a right turn. We're going to come back on a 165. We're going to rejoin the 210 in, and we're going to land. And this is our flight profile. We're going to maintain above 1,072 feet. We'll go ahead and we'll descend down to 1,072. So we'll go down to 1,500 feet as we go outbound. That will keep us prepared. When we're within 1.7 nautical miles, we can descend down. We'll descend down and we will land. Weather is, we picked up the ATIS for a military base. The ATIS is telling us that weather is, we have scattered clouds at 3,000 feet, which is what we're seeing. Actually turned my lights on instead of shutting them off. Scattered layer at 3,000 feet, so we should be good for the visual. So as soon as we get a visual of the airport, we're going to continue it on visual. All right, so that's me briefing the approach. All right, so let's go ahead and let's check our, we are currently 11 miles. We're 5 minutes out. Doing all right on temp here. Let me go ahead and I'll show you what she does here. So now we're in cruise. We need to do cruise checklist. So we'll set prop for cruise. Cruise checklist, please. Prop is set. Cruise checklist complete. All right, thank you. Cruise checklist is complete. I can fly from this seat as well. That's what this button does, seat select. So if I go over this seat, so we had a button right here. You could fly from either seat at any time. The controls are connected in the, you know, in most aircraft, of course. But there was a little selector, and that would tell it which side to prioritize for whose FMS was running the show, essentially. We have cockpit lights, red, whites, offs, and we have heater. I have to test the heater. So, you know, one of the reasons why I build complex stuff is this is what's entertaining to me, is building this sort of thing. Like, I have to pay attention the whole time. As you see, we're only 3 minutes out. I have to pay attention. I can't really screw... Oh, I don't have a needle. Shit. I don't have a needle. Okay, so one of these is going to have to be my needle. So this is very important. I can't do this approach the way I was going to do it. All right, so that's actually good. Again, you learn these things in career. But I put this system in here The issue is I still need an ADF needle. So these two here used to be my fuel. You see they're reading 0. This is my fuel now. I need one of these to be my ADF needle. I need the needle to point to my course. So that's fine. That's going to get fixed. I'm going to put a needle in here. So we're going to let me bring up the Proteus's dock. And let's do... put this in really quick. I have to be very quick with this because I am going to have issues. Again, I have to, you know, I always talk about I have to stay ahead of the aircraft. I really do have to. Let me just put it in real quick, add needle, and then I will, I'll do it later. I don't have time. I'm 2 minutes out. I could probably put it in here really quick. But, again, you know, this aircraft is reasonably fast. It's not super fast, but again, you know, as a professional pilot, you need, you know, as any pilot, you need to stay ahead of the aircraft the whole time. You can't be screwing around, and so it's imperative to pay attention. Aviate, navigate, communicate. So we're gonna wait for the outbound course. I'm not gonna be able to get a perfect outbound course here. 1 minute out. Let's go ahead and start turning our angle. What are we headed right now? 297. Want to be heading a 030. Let's go ahead and turn right to it. So 030. Go heading hold, remove the bearing, and that works like the real one. You should be able to set your heading in and not have it do it until you remove the other mode. So I have them in a hierarchy. So heading hold, and then it's bearing, and then it's radio. So as I back them off, I can get back to where I can pre-select a heading. So I have no needle, so I can't track my course outbound. All right, we're gonna go down to we'll go down to 1,100 feet. Again, this is one of the reasons why an autopilot is not meant to be flying for you. An autopilot's job is simply to be workload reduction. And that's what this job is workload reduction. I need this to reduce the workload for me. So let's look at our map here. I have to add something really quick. Let's add the map vehicle. Where am I? Okay, so I turned early. So I'm early. I'm over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to swing around and pick up the course. I don't have the needle. I don't really need the needle necessarily, but in order to do the approach, I would need the needle. So like as you can see, we're up in the clouds. You know, it's hard to see. Checking temps. Temps are getting high. Let's go ahead and bring the thrust back a little. I'm going to add caution panels and warning panels on here at some point. I think I'm going to do the cautions and warning here because I can make them small enough that I can fit them on here. And so a caution is a yellow message telling you, hey, pay attention. I think I just talked about this earlier with Cybele. And then a warning tells you, hey, yeah, with the fuel. There's something wrong with this with the ball. The ball is showing off to the side. I have to check, see what's up with that. Might just be overly sensitive. We're descending pretty slow here. Let me bring some thrust back. Slow down here. I don't want to be on a 9-mile final here. So let's go ahead and let's turn for our inbound course 210. We can get very slow. If you saw, we were able to take off at like 70 knots, and that's realistic. This was, again, there's some inspiration from real flying boats. Most of it, let's go actually about 230 until I find my final approach course. I'm going to go down to 1,000 feet here. That's fine. Go down to 1,000 feet. I have a good long final here. But anyway, so this can get down to 70 knots. That's about right. You know, you see how huge this wing is? This is a big old wing here on it. Let's check my map. Again, I can't use the instrument approach the way it should be, 210, so I figured we were going to turn inside of our course, which we were, so I added a little bit to the west. That was the 230 heading that I put in. All right, we're descending down nicely here. Let's go down to, we want 1.7 miles, so we're currently 4 miles out. So if we look at the approach plate, I'm kind of all over the place. Again, I have to talk in real time here, so 4 miles out is about here. We are currently up here somewhere. And so once we get within 4 miles, now again, this is over the ocean. We could skim low if we wanted to. But we're going to stay high because this simulates if we had like an obstacle, like say there was a building here, or a tower, or a crane or something. A crane you wouldn't have, but, you know, unless it was permanent. But that's why you do it within a certain distance. So that's why that is set up like that. All right, so I slowed us down to 90 knots. That's going to give us a better chance to get in there. Temp is under control. That's good. You know, again, you know, I am. Again, this is a new plane to me. I just built this. So, oh crap. What are we? No, I'm good. 2 miles. All right, let's go ahead and actually within 1.7 nautical miles I want to descend. So let's go ahead and go down. Let's go down to 500 feet. So this is a non-precision approach. So we're going to try to stay about, you know, this will be about 500 feet above the ground. I'm going a little low because I'm afraid I can't see. Let me give ourselves, because I'm already dealing with some issues, let me not, wind is fine. Let me just, I'm killing the fog here. I want to be able to see. Okay, there it is right there. Again, I have no needle, so I can't, yeah. No, that's the wrong island. We're over here. Okay. Let me go ahead and turn to the bearing. I have it visual now. I killed the fog, so let's go ahead. I'm going to take the autopilot off. Autopilot's coming on. Descent checklist. Descent checklist. Below 200 knots, gear is down. Flaps are going to full. Prop set for landing. I have to do all this super fast here. I'm already getting slow, too. Speed is the most important thing here. But I can keep this aircraft pretty slow. Gear needs to be recycled. Having gear issues here, it's annoying me. That tail wheels, I just replaced the tail wheel. I did some tests with it up on jack stands. I have not tested it with the aircraft. I'm having some sort of issue with that where if my character is close to it, it's working. If not, it's not. So I have to fix that. Tail wheel is not coming down, so I will fix that later. You see how we have a red on the... Up there it goes. Tail's coming down. Then transit. I'm going to try to pull my nose up, see if I can't get it. We are wicked slow here. You can hear me screaming. The engine's trying to get us set up here. Tail wheel came down. Okay. Runway in sight. Landing. And we're clear to land. We talked to the tower. The FO was on the other radio. Oh, look at that, guys. Proteus. So the instrument approach was screwed up because I didn't have a needle. I forgot to add the needle. Once the needle's in there, we will be good. I'm going to hit the brakes a little bit hard here just to make sure we can slow down. All right. All right, we're fine. We have more than enough brake. I haven't even added grip to the tires yet, and we're good. So we're going to go to the end of the runway. Cap flight 123, turn left at the end of runway 21 and contact ground on 125.7. Yeah, we'll turn left at the end here and we'll contact ground 125.7. Thanks, cap flight 123. Hey, hello ground, cap flight 123. We're looking to see if we can't get a nice parking spot in the hangar. I'm not sure if we can fit or not. Cap flight, if you could turn left on Alpha, turn right on Bravo. I have to look, make sure I'm actually giving myself reasonable text instructions. Yep. Turn left on Alpha, turn right on Bravo, hold short of runway 27. And, alright, turn left on Alpha, turn right on Bravo, hold short of 27, cap flight 123. I'm going to talk to the FO now. Go ahead and shut down 1 and 4, please. 1 and 4. Shut the gens off, too, please. Gens. When you get a sec, can you do the after landing checklist, please? After landing checklist, flaps are coming up. I didn't put on my landing lights. Hey, can you hit the taxi lights for me, please? Thanks, thanks. After landing checklist complete, thank you. Cap flight 123, you're cleared to cross runway 27. Cleared to cross runway 27, cap flight 123, thanks. It's dark, even with the taxi lights. Talking to the FO again. Yeah, it's that big fat nose we got. Yeah, big fat nose. Can't see past it. Might have to put some on the pontoons. Oh yeah, that'd be smart. Hope you guys are enjoying the little RP and learning what the radio really sounds like. I can't see enough of this. Okay. I'm gonna have to cut it in, I think. Campflight 123. We're a big fat bird here. Can we can we taxi down 27 to get in that hangar? Yeah, go ahead and taxi down 27. 27 is closed for maintenance. All right, thank you. Taxi down there. FO, can you run the low-ass hangar checklist, please? Low-ass hangar checklist. Copy. Go ahead and fold the tail. Thank you. Tail fold. Tail fold is in progress. Yeah, see how I can actually get in there better this way? I just couldn't see with the lights. It got dark really quick. So I do not know if I can spawn this in the hangar. So let's see. I'm going to actually park it here. And what I'm going to do is park it right here. Because I can taxi across the grass fine. And FO, can you run the shutdown checklist, please? Shutdown checklist. Engine 1 shutdown. 1 is shutdown. Engine 2 shutdown. 2 is shutdown. Engine 3, engine and gen shutdown. Engine 3 and gen is shutdown. Engine 4, engine gen shutdown. Engine 4 shutdown and gen is off. Parking brake set. Parking brake is set. Lights off. Lights are off. You would do it and then do the checklist, but sometimes you get behind and you forget it. And let's see, what else would I put on there? Avionics master off. Avionics master off. Master power off. Master power off. Shutdown checklist complete. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go to the hotel. And then you probably have your last item would be secure aircraft to make sure you lock the door and don't leave it open to the masses. But so I think I'll be doing more of that stuff. Like one of the reasons why I wanted a big complicated bird like this is I missed that element of it really having it complicated. You saw how quickly I had to change things and how right away I'm like, I'm too high. I've taken off the autopilot. That's something that comes with confidence and experience that you need to know that you can fly better than the autopilot. The autopilot, again, is not replacing you. The autopilot's job is to reduce your workload. You are still in charge. So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed getting Proteus out. I've been really cramming in the hours on Proteus. Like I said, this has like 20 hours in it. I've been homesick. I was homesick for a couple days, and I've just been hammering on it. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me quickly check this. This is iffy to me. This hangar looks too small to run Proteus. That's fine. I just wanted to know if Proteus can fit in here or not. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to spawn it. If I can spawn it, I know it's big enough. Proteus will fit. Okay, good. So Proteus will fit in the big hangar here. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll save the game up. I hope you guys enjoyed Proteus. This has been a labor of love building this big old Johnny. It does everything I want. It is a ton of fun. It can hold 2 containers. We can transpo those. It can hold some vehicles. This is going to be a ton of fun. We didn't even land in the ocean. A couple items I need to add. Like I said, I don't have a needle, so I can't do my instrument approach. This would have been beautiful if I had just a little bit of fog. I would have come screaming out of the fog. We would have seen it. If you notice how beautifully this handles at slow speeds, that's what a plane like this does. You notice it has a big, flat, straight edge wing. This is designed for low speed flight. This does not go over 200 knots. This goes about 170 max, which is about period correct. You got Sunderlands would go just over 200, but that was probably in a dive, literally. So this functions really well like it's supposed to do. And again, I want my vehicles to have different strengths and weaknesses, and so this is not intended to be a super fast screamer. This is intended to be used to this is intended for moving some containers efficiently slow. Even at the speeds I was going, I was getting behind the aircraft. You see how I was always rushed? I was ignoring you guys and doing something else. Again, the hierarchy is aviate, navigate, communicate. I was flying the plane first, then I was making sure I was going where I was supposed to, and then you guys were last. And that's how you keep out of trouble. And, if I got lost in train of thought, that's when you get lost, literally lost. And so you see, it was very simple, old school. There's like 1940s, 1950s navigation technology. We can easily get around the area of Stormworks. And for me, that's a hell of a lot more fun than having some moving map where I always know where I am. This is what's fun. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll take one more picture. Going to be a lot of Proteus, and Proteus is working well. There's just a couple of things that need to be handled, and then that will be about it. I think Proteus is in gorgeous shape, and so I built a vehicle already, or I upgraded one of my old vehicles to do some of the. I upgraded one of my vehicles to load Proteus, and so that is uh, pretty much all set up that I can load and unload a couple containers from Proteus, so that's going to be part of our thing. We can also operate from the water, do some rescues, and so that whole upper deck needs to be dressed up. But this is to the point where Career Build Series is going to be focused on this, but we're going to be doing missions and a little bit of building, and that's why I put off the long, like 6 hours of building videos I have. I will release those. Once I kind of get them up, it'll be one big chunk. I need to put in bookmarks, and then you guys can watch as much of it or as little of it as you want and still get this kind of rescue and actual storytelling content. So, hope you guys enjoy the episode. I really had fun, and I will see you guys in the next one.